Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, you're welcome. I'm Jane, my husband Mike is holding the camera. We're British, early retirees with no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related. Now we're going to link last Friday's video because it explains to you as to why we have got a €50 a week supermarket budget. And I've got a shopping haul to share with you, and at the end of the video you'll see the meals that we've eaten over the week. So how good is that? Shopping haul and meals of the week within our €50. Let's get going with this straight away. So our supermarket budget for this month, and who knows, maybe future months, is halved. It was €400, it's now €200. And when you have to slash a budget, you have to make compromises. And one of those compromises is that I add in frozen vegetables into our diet. And I do this anyway. The cheapest place that I've got for buying frozen vegetables, and I find them better and the bags are bigger, is Netto. And let's go through what did I buy. I bought two 1 kilo bags of green beans. Now green beans, we don't just eat them steamed. I sometimes steam them, let them go cold, and we have them in a salad. Sometimes I do a tray bake, they'll be roasted as well. So that's €1.84 for each kilo. The next one, if I make mushroom soup or add mushrooms to a soup, I use frozen mushrooms, and I've got a kilo of mushrooms there, and they're all sliced, cleaned, ready to go, $1.64. Peas, they are a bit cheaper to buy them frozen and not in a tin, and that's $1.88 for the peas, and that's a kilo. Over here I've got a kilo bag, and this is Tofu. So you can see I've got leek, I've got cabbage, I've got swede, I've got potatoes, and I would put that into some kind of a stew. So I might do a lentil and vegetable, like chunky casserole stew type thing, and that's got all the vegetables I need in there. The next one I've got here is, where is cauliflower? Chou-fleur, this one here. A kilo of cauliflower, $1.35. I love fresh cauliflower, but I love also to make cauliflower with a creamy cheese sauce. So it's like a bechamel sauce, I mix in grated cheese, and we have that, and I bake it in the oven. This one over here is very similar to this, but it's in smaller pieces. And I add this into soups. And we have a lot of vegetable soups when, the budget is tight. And it's like getting, all your 5 a day in one soup. And those there were $1.14. These are an absolute bargain, considering that this is this, but in smaller pieces. And you can see it's got cauliflower, leek, it's got, I do believe it's got celery, it's got this in it, sweet rutabaga. So a really good deal. So what you can see here, and I'll fill up a couple of freezer drawers for this, is €13. The next store I went to was Lidl, and everything that you can see here came to €33.42. Let's start over here. I've got 6 litres of milk. This is shelf stable milk. This is how we buy it. This is 98 cents a litre. We've then got sandwich bread. I don't eat bread, Mike eats bread. We'd have one big meal of the day and one smaller meal of the day. And with the smaller meal of the day, it could sometimes be sandwiches. This freezes well. I tend to split it into 3 and freeze it. So that's $1.62 for the big slice of bread. Then I've got 3 small lettuce for $1.49. The iceberg lettuce was on sale. It had a deal on, but it was in bad condition. So I paid a bit more and got these. The cucumbers are 99 cents each. Potatoes, they were on sale. They were British people. When I say on sale, Some of you would say, I say on offer. You say on sale, I say on offer. So the offer today on potatoes were $1.97 for the big bag of it. I've got some sunflower spread here. I this week could not run to butter. Butter, that weight is €5. So I had to make a compromise, and I've got sunflower spread. If it goes in a sandwich, it goes on very, very thinly. It's not too bad, not too bad. Then there's the Speckaloos biscuits, because I used the app today, they were free. I've then got a large bottle of washing up liquid, that was €1.14. I've got bread at the back here, the single bread, because I used my Lidl app, that one was free. This one over here, these were on offer. Normally they're 95 cents each, but it was in a pack like this, a 3+1 offert, which means offert one is free, which brought them all down to 71 cents each. The other day we went and did go to the local bakery, or a nearby bakery, and we bought a baguette rustique, and it was $1.25. And I think in Mike's opinion, it wasn't worth the extra money.
It was very average.
It was very average. I then got a packet of oats. Now, somebody who doesn't eat wheat, I will grind these down in my blender and make an oat flour and use that in baking. Those were 85 cents. I've got short dated eggs. They'll be fine. They'll keep. And those were $1.27. I did break one, and I'll eat that today. I broke it because I do check them in the shop. $1.27 for 10 eggs. Where's the broken one? There it is. I broke it. I then bought, this is a cheaper way of buying yogurt. I normally buy it in packs of 150 grams. And I usually pay about $1.50 for those, but this was cheaper. So I've got the smaller packs, and they're $1.62. I tend to have this as a breakfast or like a light evening meal. So $1.60 with plain Greek yogurt, nothing in it but yogurt. I've then got 4 courgettes, zucchinis, which was €1.19. I've got here 1.5 kilos, which is £3, of onions, $1.79. And I've got a big bag of carrots, which is 2 kilos for $2.49, and 3 peppers. We tend to eat these raw this time of year in salad, and those were $2.29.
Beans and cream.
Oh, beans and cream. Right, so I've got baked beans. Great additional protein and fibre to our diet. That was €1.05. That's going in the store cupboard. And then we have got creme fraiche, which is like sour cream, and that was $1.80. If I make a vegetable soup, I add extra protein to it, I'll stick some cream in it. So I have a €50 budget, and some of the things that you saw won't all be eaten in this week. The frozen vegetables, they go into supplementing meals. I can't think of anything else. So the bread, for example, each of those gets cut in half and they get frozen. And that's kind of bread for Mike for the week. So in total, I spent $46.48, slightly over. I like to keep 10% back, which obviously would have brought it to $45. I think things like, I saw the eggs today. The eggs were reduced, and I suddenly thought, they're fine. I mean, they're dated here until the 2nd of the 6th. They're fine. We will use them in that time. I also intend to make some kind of sweet treat type things for the weekend, some cake based things. So the eggs will come in handy. So the eggs took me over budget this week. Anyway, it's not the end. What we'll show you now is just some of the meals of the week we've had. And if you think to yourself you didn't see the meat here, watch back the previous video afterwards and you will see I've got plenty of meat in the freezer and didn't need to buy any this week. Another day, another money-saving meal. So I had cauliflower and I had broccoli in the freezer, and I've cooked it. I steamed it lightly and I've made a cheese sauce. I had cheese already, and instead of using my milk, which is expensive, I'm using up this milk powder. and I made up the milk, and then I made the cheese sauce, and then I've made cheese sauce for another day. Cheese sauce is just super with everything, isn't it? Cook some pasta, cook a load of vegetables, put it together, stick it in the oven, bake it till the pasta goes a bit crispy on top and serve it. I've used the vegetable spread, which I bought for cooking, to go into the cheese sauce. I make a bechamel and I add cheese, that's it. And a squirt of mustard. The dish is not dirty, by the way, it is just old and the enamel just stains over time. There we go. Broccoli, cauliflower and a cheese sauce, which is going to go with the rest of the meal, and I'll show you the whole meal at the end. So here is our Sunday lunch. I had 2 fillets of pork. One's obviously stayed in the freezer. One came out and got cooked in the air fryer. I have made a sauce to go with this with spiced plum jam, some stock, which is a stock cube, and water. I then added water, corn flour and some vinegar, stirred it all together, heated it up, and it's kind of a sweet and sour sauce. We've got roasted new potatoes, cauliflower with broccoli and a cheese sauce, which I've overcooked, but hey, it won't kill us. Doesn't need so much chewing. We don't curate what you see here, you see what there is. And there's 4 meals because we don't cook on a Monday. I don't cook on a Monday, and we've got the same again tomorrow. So there we go, another meal in our €50 a week budget. Half a cucumber chopped. Add in 1 tin of tuna. Add in 1 tin of drained sweet corn. Add in 1 finely chopped onion. Add in mayonnaise, as much as you like. I've added in 2 heaped dessert spoons of this, and I will stir it all together. And finally, I'll add in the pasta and stir that in too. However, you could just have this all mixed together with a baked potato, with chips, fries, actually they're called chips, they're really called chips, and stir that together. There we go. Last of all, add in the cooked pasta. I find this a great way, if you've cooked too much pasta, to make a tuna, sweet corn, cucumber and mayo all mixed together. It's just perfect with anything really, but we like to have this with salad. So there is our finished meal. We've got a few bits of leftovers of ready-made salad from the previous day. This is remoulade, which is celeriac in like a creme fraiche dressing with a slight onion paste in the background, some lettuce, some beetroot, some coleslaw, and then obviously the salad that you saw me make. And there's another portion of it later. I will have that as my evening meal because I've used gluten-free pasta in all of this, and I'll make Mike a sandwich later. And I'm going to talk to you about French mayonnaise. It doesn't have many ingredients, but one of the ingredients it does have in it is Dijon mustard, which makes it a very traditional French mayonnaise. And if I was making this where they didn't have proper real mayonnaise, with, you know, if there's a list of ingredients in there that sounds like, you know, Dr. Frankenstein's made it, it's not real mayonnaise. But I would add Dijon mustard to my mayonnaise if I was making this salad, or not if you don't like it. There's the finished salad for today of our €50 a week cutback budget. For lunch today, we have got a salad with beetroot and a creamy sauce on it. And what I did here is I lined my air fryer with baking paper and I cooked roasty potatoes in there. And I also defrosted some frozen spinach in the microwave. And when the roasty potatoes were cooked, I sprinkled the spinach on top and some cheese and a beaten egg and some tomatoes. So it's kind of egg, spinach and potatoes baked with a salad. There we go. You can see it a bit better there. Good morning everybody. I am making from long life tofu. Did you know you can buy long life tofu, and jolly nice it is too. About €2.50 for that from my local supermarket, cheaper in others maybe. And I'll get my tofu, take it out the packet, dust it in corn flour, fleur de maize, and I would also toss it in corn flour, salt and pepper, bung it in the air fryer. I'm making a sweet and sour sauce. Sweet and sour sauce, so simple. Something sweet, something simple, something sour. And I've got here plum jam I probably made 3 years ago, found in the back of the cupboard, need to use up, with vinegar and with corn flour to thicken it, and a dash of soy sauce has gone in there, and I'll thicken it up. If it is not sweet enough, I add more jam. You could use marmalade, whatever you've got. If it's not sour enough, I'll add more vinegar. I'm cooking rice here because I'm going to make, to go with this, egg fried rice. So cooking the rice first, and hopefully I should make enough for our main meal for today and a small meal for this evening. Here is my tofu, all chopped up. That's it, tofu. And here is my tofu tossed in corn flour, salt, pepper, small sprinkling of a 5 spice, which is this, and very difficult to find in France and expensive nonetheless. So I'm going to go ahead and fry that in a little oil, and then I'll put it in my air fryer to keep it warm. In the spirit of using what I have and just making do with what I've got, I have no ginger, chilli and garlic, which are the 3 essential ingredients to an egg fried rice. But I have got, you can see here, a tiny bit of hot sweet chilli sauce left in here. It's got ginger, chilli and garlic in it. That is what's going to flavour my egg fried rice. And you can see here, I've got my omelette cooking, and I'll swap hands because I'm filming this with my phone. And I will just push that back and let the egg cook to form my omelette. And I'll chop that up and add that to the eggs, add that to the egg fried rice at the end of it. Secret with an omelette, just don't have it too hot. And here is the finished egg fried rice, crispy tofu, homemade, sweet and sour sauce. Bit gingery because the jam I used was a spiced plum jam. I basically made plum jam and I added in ginger. That was it. There we are. Didn't have enough tofu for our dinner tonight. I'll stick some vegetables on that for later because we have a big meal and a small meal. No idea what I'm going to put on that. I'll think of that between now and then. But there is our lunch. Egg fried rice, crispy tofu, sweet and sour sauce.
What have we got for lunch today, my love?
Well, we have got chilli made of very little meat and mostly vegetables, and homemade chunky chips. So I just washed the chips, I washed the potatoes obviously, and I cut them into wedges. That one's yours, by the way.
Thank you very
A
much.
mountain of food, and this one is mine. Cut them into wedges, I parboil them until they're well cooked, and I toss them, I drain them, toss them in oil and salt and put them in the air fryer for about 25 minutes. So they're crispy.
They look fabulous.
Yeah, it's hot and steamy.
They're like Marks and Spencer chips, aren't they? Lovely. Look forward to this.
And loads for dinner later.
Loads for later.
Loads for later. Bit different from the beginning of the video, eh? I was all clean and tidy then. Now I'm here in my DIY apron. I'm wrapping up my paintbrush in between coats of paint and about to say goodbye to you. So there we are. We're on €50 a week supermarket budget all of this month, and who knows, maybe next month as well. I think we did okay. You saw what we bought. You will see, so I'm filming this on Thursday, you're seeing this on Friday. The following week, you'll see what we had last week. Get what I'm doing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your thumbs up. Come on, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for all subscribers, old and new. We appreciate every single one of you, and for all of your comments, and we read every one. See you on the next video. Bye.